Have you ever found yourself in a place where nothing made sense? Where you cried out, God, where are you? What are you doing? You see, I know that place. I've been there. The moments of confusion, heartbreak, and uncertainty, where it felt like every door was closing. Every plan was falling apart, and the weight of life was way too heavy to carry. But I'm here to tell you, what I have learned is God was not absent. He was not silent. He was working. He was shaping me. He was preparing me. He was positioning me. He was working on my behalf, putting me into things that were greater than I ever could have imagined. And if I only knew then what God was up to, I would have trusted him more. I would have worried less. I would have walked in faith instead of fear. Today, I want you to know, whatever you're going through, whatever season this is for you, God is up to something in your life. Even when you can't see it, even when it doesn't feel like it, he is moving. He is making a way. Open your heart and let's begin this journey together. Because you see, if I only knew what God was up to, I would have told myself, girl, you were born for this. I am Melissa Banks. I'm an award winner, master event planner, motivational speaker, empowerment coach, and best-selling author. I am super excited to be here. I look out, guys, and when I see this room full of these faces and all this pink and purple, it's just amazing, and it does my heart so much good. I want to just say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for you. It is my prayer that you will leave here inspired, motivated, and ready to take action in the life that you want and deserve. Let me just say thank you to Butterflies by Grace, Divine by Faith. I never met Eva till today, and she was a pleasure to meet from the beginning. So I'm so honored that she shared her platform with me and gave me an opportunity to share my journey with all of you. Before I get started, I want to tell you just a little bit about me that wasn't in that formal bio that she read, that I was raised right here in Jackson, Mississippi by an amazing single mother. Guys, my mother celebrated her 90th birthday last Saturday. She's here today. Raise your hand. Let's celebrate my mama. Give her this moment. Y'all can do it. Let's celebrate my 90-year-old mother right there. You see, at 90 years old, my mother is still that glue, that leader of our family that holds us all together. I have two sons, Daryl and Danny, who live in other states, and I have three sisters and a brother who still lives right here in this area. We have three sisters who have gone on to be with the Lord. My mother taught us and showed us in her action that you always believe in God. You work hard, and you always, always want more out of life, whether the people around you agree or not. So I like to take this time with you today and just share my journey. I'm going to share some challenges. I'm going to share some victories, and I'm going to share some lessons learned. So some of the stories I share, you may be in shock. You know how we show up? We show up looking great, and then we determine our own story about that person, about what we see. So I want to share some real stories with you. And it's my hope that these stories will not only inspire you, but push you to action. But before I get started, I need your help. So as I tell my story, when I say, if I only knew, I need you to say what God was up to. Can you help me out? You willing to help me out? Clap if you're going to help me out. Just clap if you're going to help me out. Okay, so I think we need a little trial run, right? Okay, y'all ready? If I only knew
what God was up to.
That's it. Give yourselves a round of applause. When I was 14 years old, my family and I started going to a different church. At this church is where I met the love of my young life. I met the boy who would later become my husband. At age 17, we were married. And 6 months later, he became my abuser. And it lasted for 17 long years. Have you ever had an experience that every time you think about that experience, you can see yourself right back in that place? I can remember the very first time I was hit. I can see myself sitting on that bar stool at that kitchen counter when I was hit for the very first time. I can feel right now talking to you what I felt at that moment because my heart sank. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was afraid and I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. What I didn't know was that that was just the beginning. As years went on and time moved on, it became more frequent, it became more harsh, and it became both mental and physical. It became my life. I lived every day insecure with no self-esteem. I was told everything that I was not. I was not smart enough. I was not pretty enough. I was not stylish enough. I couldn't do much that was right. I couldn't cook the chicken right. Did y'all know that when you fry chicken, it has to come out the refrigerator at a certain temperature? It has to go into the batter at another temperature. And then it has to go into the grease at another temperature. That's how it's all pretty and crusty and no bare spots. Did y'all know that? No. Me either. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it right. I couldn't make the bed right. I would look at him wrong if we were at an event that didn't sit well with him. Whatever the reason, I was beaten often and over anything. It became my life. You see, my mind was controlled by someone who didn't mean me any good. Hear me. If you don't remember anything else I say to you in my time here, you remember this. Whoever controls your mind controls you. And the thing about it is he was clear about that. I just wasn't. Because he would say to me, as long as I have your mind, I have you. And that is 100% correct. I was lost and afraid. If I only knew
what God was up to.
During this time, I didn't speak well or often. I didn't speak to anyone that wasn't in my immediate circle. I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't believe in myself. Frankly, I didn't know what believing in myself even meant. All I could imagine was what I was living through. My life was so big and scary all the time. Have you ever been on a roller coaster or carnival ride and that it starts out slow and it keeps going, and the longer it keeps going, the faster it goes and it goes and it goes? That was my life. It was always something. It was something big all the time. Even if it was something little, it was big in that house, and it was hard. It was scary. And I didn't want to do it, but I couldn't stop it. It kept going. Once you get on that ride, you don't have the control. You can't stop it. You got to stay there until it stops. And the thing is I had to hide it from every single person in my life. There was a time that he called me at work and said, "I'm picking you up for lunch." I said, "Okay." So when he arrives to pick me up for lunch, so I thought that's what he said, right? I get in the car. Instead of going to lunch, we drive to a nearby park. It was a park inside of a community. It was a state park. There were other people having lunch and walking through the park. And we were in his car. And I was beaten on my lunch hour. And when it was done, I simply straightened up my face. I combed my hair. straightened my clothes back up, and he took me back to work. What do you think happened when I got to work? I walked in that building, put together, with a smile on my face, as if nothing had happened but the joy that I had painted the picture was my life. You see, I got really good at pretending that everything was wonderful. I don't know if you can relate to me, that when you left your house, it was simply chaos. You were living in fear every day, but when you showed up and showed people that the story you were telling them was true, no matter what really was happening. Because you see, I was real good at pretending on the outside, but on the inside, I was dying a little bit every single day. This was my life, and I didn't want to keep going. If I only knew
what God was up to.
Then came the night. You know, when I started this conversation, I said it went on for 17 long years. It was a hard 17 years. It was lots of abuse. It was lots of trying to protect my children. And it constantly got worse and worse and worse. Because you know that if nothing changes, it's going to get worse. You're not going to just wake up one morning and then he's that Prince Charming I thought he was at 14. So it kept building and building. And then the night came. This was the night I thought I would die. You see, in just a matter of minutes, my sons and I was watching TV, and then we were in the kitchen, and there was a knife to my throat. And I was standing there, not crying, not screaming, not saying anything. You see, my sons and I had a plan. My older son, if something ever happened, he was to run out of the house and go call for help. Me and my younger son was left in the house. So while we were in this kitchen and this knife is to my throat, my younger son is screaming, "Daddy, Daddy, don't." And all I could hear in my head was, this is it. This is what all these years have been building up to this moment. I am going to die right here in my kitchen with my youngest son watching it happen. And all I could hear was, "Daddy, Daddy, don't." I thought, this is it. It was finally going to be the end. This is where I will die. If I only knew
what God was up to.
You see, he threw down that knife and ran. God delivered us that night. And now, I was a single parent. It was my responsibility to take care of my sons. Now, remember, this journey for me and this abuse and this low self-esteem started at age 14. But now I'm responsible for making a life for my young sons. So I had to start. I had to start somewhere. You see, that night ended in that kitchen, but I had nothing. I didn't have a place to live. So I had to find a place for me and my sons. And I had heard about this little apartment. It was not in a good neighborhood. It was not that apartment that you dream about. But I heard about it. And I went to the landlord. See, sometimes we just simply have to let down our pride. And we have to step up and say, this is what I need, because as Maggie talked about earlier, women make it happen when we need to make it happen. So I went to him and I explained my situation. See, God had already lined him up, though, because he said, you know what, Melissa, I have an apartment. Somebody just moved out and we haven't cleaned it yet. So if you clean it yourself, we can waive the deposit. And that can help you be able to move in. And I, of course, said yes. Hadn't seen it. I walked into that apartment, y'all. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was filthy. It was dirty. My mother and sister and I recently were at lunch, and I don't really know why this thought came up, and we were talking about it because she said when she saw it, she went home in tears to know that I had to be there. But I'm going to tell you what I did. I went to work. I started scrubbing the walls. I started scrubbing the ceiling, y'all, even the floors, every inch of this little apartment. So when I got through with it, it was ready for my sons to come live there. But then I had another issue. We didn't have a bed. Where was I going to get a bed? I didn't have any money. But there are organizations. This is another area where we need to say, I need some help, which is the hardest thing for women to do, is say, I need some help. But I did. And I went to one of the local organizations that help you with things like that. And she said, Melissa, I have one bed, and you can have it. Now, remember, I have 2 sons and me. That's 3 people, 1 bed. I graciously took that 1 bed, put it in that 1 bedroom that I had cleaned, because now it was clean enough for my sons to be in it, and put my sons in that 1 bed. Then I found a couch somewhere else. And I put that couch in the living room. And that became my peace. You see, at night, when I put my sons in that 1 bed that we had, and I went in there and laid on that couch with the blanket, I knew I could lay there in peace and fall asleep comfortably, knowing I was not going to get awakened in the middle of the night, being screamed at and told everything I was not. I was going to be able to lay on that couch, and I was going to be able to sleep through that night, and I didn't have to worry about anything happening to my sons because they were nice and safe and clean in that 1 bedroom. But let me tell you the other side of that story. Because see, then I would lay there and I would start feeling regret and beating up on myself that I had failed my sons. I had failed myself in life. I stayed in that abusive situation way too long. I should have gotten this out earlier. Those were the words I was saying to myself. And then I became sad and feeling like a failure. So now my emotions are rolling. I'm grateful, Lord. Thank you, you delivered us. Then I'm beating up on myself. Have you ever beat up on yourself after you came through a situation that you felt guilty and ashamed? That's where I was at that point. My mind would race. And this was becoming my life. If I only knew
what God was up to.
You see, I was able to get a really great job at a major technology company. People in the area were fighting for those positions, and I was able to get one. I screamed, thank you, God, this is the answer I've been waiting for. Thank you for changing my life, because I knew my life was about to change when I got that job. That job was the answer. So I thought. Until it was the answer for a really long time, y'all. I worked there. My life did change. We got a better place to stay. I got a car. My children had clothes like other children. So it did change for a really long time. But until rumors began to circulate that the company was in trouble and that there would be a massive layoff nationwide and thousands of people would be laid off in one day. The leaders got us together and explained that it was just rumor. Nothing was going to happen. Everything was fine, and our jobs were secure. We believed them. Even though the news was telling us that it was not true, that it would be, we still believed them. One morning, as I was driving to work, I was in my car, and I heard a voice. Now, it wasn't loud in the car. It was deep down in my spirit, but it was clear, and I could hear it. And it said, you will own your own business. I didn't know what that was. What do you mean? Now, I just shared just a little bit of my story, but the parts I just shared with you, do you think I was laying asleep at night dreaming of owning a business? I didn't even know people who owned their own business who looked like me. So I didn't understand it, but it was clear. It said, you will own your own business. This was my defining moment. This was the moment that my dream was born. Shortly after that morning, on another morning driving into work, you ever went to somewhere that you go all the time? And this particular day, you go in there, you know all the people, but it feels funny. Something is happening. All your spirit is telling you something is off. This doesn't feel right. This particular morning, as I drove onto the parking lot, I knew immediately what is going on. Something is wrong. As I approached the guard station, which normally, you've gone to places, they have a guardhouse. There may or may not be someone in the guardhouse, but even if it is, they just waving you on through. That's what we were accustomed to. But on this particular morning, they were stopping every single car at the guard's house. Now, I'm sitting back there late, trying to figure out what is going on. We have a line here. I get to the guard station, and he asks for ID. And I'm thinking, I've been here over 10 years. Why are you asking me for my ID? And I reach to pull it out, and I look up, and they're National Guard in the guardhouse. I park. I begin to walk into the building, and there are National Guard at every single entrance of the building. As I walk into the building, my mind is going now. I'm feeling nervous. What is going on? What is going on? As I walk into the building, there are National Guard at every single department entrance. It was clear. It was no longer rumor. It was happening, and it was happening today. Now, I was nervous, but I started looking around. You see, the position that I held, there was 2 people that held that position nationwide. And we had discussed, if the rumors were true, our boss, who was based out of another state, would have to fly in to let us go. And if she wasn't here, we knew we were safe. So we walk in, she was not there. The layoffs began to happen. We started hearing about them. We felt okay because she wasn't there. It never occurred to us that she would not go to the trouble of the logistics of flying into Mississippi, getting a car, driving to the office, calling us in there, and letting us go in person. It never occurred to us that she would simply pick up the phone and give us a call. My phone rang. She acted as if she's never spoken to me before. I've been there 10 plus years working for the same person. She said, Melissa, I called to inform you that your position has been eliminated. Your services are no longer needed, and you are to pack what belonged to you and leave the building immediately. When I tell you, I could not stop trembling immediately. I hung the phone up, and I turned, and at my door now stood the National Guard. Inside, I was screaming, but I was too scared. My stomach was already cramping, but now I have to pack this office in record time and get out of this building, because if I'm in there too much longer, I am going to lose it all right here. So I began to pack, just throwing stuff in the boxes onto the cart. And somehow I was able to get it packed. Now my legs are weak, my arms are weak, and I just want to scream because, you know what? This was not the news I thought was going to be happening. This was my answer, remember? But as I pushed that cart out of there, I don't know how I got the strength. The National Guard starts out with me, but I don't know where they went. But when I got to my car, I threw those things in the back seat of that car, and I sat in the driver's seat, and I began to scream, God, this is not happening to me. Not now. You see, this job was my plan. This was what God had answered all my prayers with. This was where I was supposed to make it. I was supposed to be here. This company paid me a salary that me and my children were okay. I didn't have to worry about them any longer. This job provided education funds. I was going to school and they were paying for it. This job provided profit sharing, so it was taking care of my future. And it was all gone in a matter of seconds. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a plan C. It was the plan, and it was stripped from me all at once, and I was screaming because I was scared. Tears was rolling down my face, and I was screaming, I don't know what I'm going to do. It was over. If I only knew
what God was up to.
You see, I've been building my business for over 25 years. If I only knew
what God was up to.
And then in 2019, God gave me a vision to host my very first Women's Empowerment Conference. I was thrilled. I was excited. But I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know what that was supposed to look like. All I knew was God gave me the vision. I was supposed to encourage women to believe in themselves, to not take no for an answer, and to keep going no matter what it looks like. I'm going to tell you something. The road to that conference was hard. It was challenging. We kept coming up with things that we had to overcome and overcome and overcome. And it was one thing after another. We were overcome this and something else happened. But you know what I learned in that journey? That when God gives you the vision, He gives you every single thing you need to get you to where you're supposed to be. That conference was held in January of 2020. And it was an amazing day, and hundreds of women were impacted that day. If I only knew
what God was up to.
2020 rolled in here. I was excited. The conference had been a big success. My business was the best ever. It was everything I planned, everything I worked for. My calendar was loaded with in-person events, speaking engagements, conferences. It was the year that I was finally going to have my turn. It was 2020, and March happened. Do I need to tell y'all what's going on? Y'all already know. 2020 was rolling in, and I felt gut punched. I felt like I've been working this hard to get here and then have it snatched away in a matter of seconds. My dream was gone. This is where my dream was going to die. But if I only knew
what God was up to.
God pushed me into areas that I never knew to dream. My business evolved, and opportunities I never dreamed of became my reality. If I only knew
what God was up to.
Now, I know you may be in this room trying to figure everything out. It seems like nothing is working. Just when you think the breakthrough is there, something happens. Or maybe you're sitting here and you have this dream in your belly. You think about it at night when you roll over. You talk to all your friends about it, but you don't move on it because you're too afraid and insecure. I'm here to tell you that you have the power. You have everything you need inside of you. Decide today to believe in yourself. Take every other option off the table. Make the decision that you're going for it and you're willing to do what it takes to make your dream happen. You have greatness in you. As I close, stand with me. Y'all got to be ready to stand up. This is where we need a deep breath. I need one. Y'all need one? Okay, let's take a deep breath. And exhale. We're going to take another one. But this time when you exhale, I want you to release every single limiting belief that's been holding you back. I want you to release every excuse you've given yourself for not going for your dreams. I want you to release that guilt you've been carrying around, that shame, that self-doubt. You're going to release it right here in this place today. Let's take a deep breath and release it. Let it come out all through your arms, through your feet. Shake it out. Give yourselves a round of applause. I want you to repeat after me. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am a masterpiece.
I am a masterpiece.
Give yourself a round of applause and have your seat. I say to you that all those things that you just spoke are coming to your life. On inside, your spirit comes to life, and your self-image will improve, and you'll start feeling and acting with confidence and believing in yourself. You have the power. That's okay. As you reflect on your journey, be reminded that even in the moments of uncertainty, that God is always at work. What may have seemed like delays were actually preparations. What felt like obstacles were opportunities for growth. And what appeared to be closed doors were simply redirections to something greater. So as you move forward, trust the process. Embrace the unknown with faith, knowing what God's plans are greater than our own. Even when we don't understand, He is guiding us. He is positioning us, and He's preparing us for something beyond what we could imagine. Thank you for being a part of this journey. May you walk forward with confidence, knowing that God is always up to something good in your life. Thank you for listening to me. Now go be amazing, because you are.